Hi, and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel, Arting with Nadia. I am your host, Nadia. I'm an 18-year veteran art teacher, which makes me sound really old. I wanted to start this YouTube channel in order to give an opportunity to learn some basics in drawing and painting. And I know that there's a ton of art channels that already provide that. So it's really cool that you chose this channel to check out, even if you just kind of stumbled upon it. I see you. So for my first tutorial, I thought it would be a good starting point to start with a value scale. Now, a lot of value scales look different, can be done differently, can be done with different materials, but this one's really basic. We're gonna use a number 2 pencil. So go ahead and grab a sheet of paper, a pencil, and a straight edge or a ruler, and we'll get started. Okay, so as promised, we're going to be starting with a very simple value scale. What we mean by value is it's an element of art. Elements of art are tools that we use to create art. One of those elements is value. Value is the lightness and darkness of something. So how much shading, how much brightness there is in an object, either in color or in black and white. That's what we basically refer to as value in art. The only thing you're gonna need today is a piece of paper, number 2 pencil, and maybe a ruler or some type of straight edge. I got this from my son's drawer somewhere. I like it, it's so wiggly. So I'm just using this for really just a straight edge rectangle, and I'm using the actual shape of the ruler just to make things easier for myself. Look at that, fancy. So now what I'm going to be doing is basically dividing this into 7 squares. And to do 7 squares, we need 6 lines. I'm not trying to measure this out in any way, but I'm just going to kind of eye it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't care about lines that are not straight, that come out of the lines. That's not the kind of art teacher I am, or artist for that matter, unless it has to be something very specific. This kind of thing is just a study. As long as I have all the spaces there to do my transitions, I don't care. So some artists and some art teachers for that matter, when they teach this, they will shade this first square very lightly, and then they'll get darker as they go. I don't, because I like to show that white does exist as a value when you're drawing, when you're painting. Sometimes we need white to kind of raise a contrast a little bit on certain things. So I like to always leave white there. The second one is the one that I start to shade in. Now, when I shade in, you're not forced to do this or do this. Pick a direction that works for you, that's relaxed and doesn't make you tense up. Also, one big thing that I tell my students all the time, please do not hold your pencil like this. For most drawing techniques, some will use it, but most of the time I tell my students to kind of ease off. Go for the middle, or hold it like this with the eraser hitting the inside of your hand, so to speak, and use that, because that forces you to lose a little bit of control. Why do you want to do that? Because if you're too tense and too strung up on it has to be this way, it's never going to come out exactly how you want it. And this teaches you to loosen up a little bit. So I'm going to go straight up and down, very super duper 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 trooper 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 lightly. I don't want to put any pressure on my pencil whatsoever. So this is just me letting my pencil kind of feather onto the paper. I'm not even putting down a lot of pressure at all. This is just me tickling the paper, as I say. Try to cover it evenly with that very, very light value. Now from this point on, you're going to copy this value onto this one so that you have a starting point. So now, as I shade this in, I'll notice that they're both the same. And a cool little trick that I always teach my students is, I can't really show you with my own eyes, but if you squint your eyes, you'll kind of notice if these two boxes or any of the boxes that you do are exactly the same. If that is the case, something has to be edited, something has to be erased, or something has to be made darker. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a tiny, tiny, teensy bit of pressure on this third box. Notice I don't care if I'm outside the lines, that's not my thing, as long as I can display the transitions. That's what's important. So I'm trying to even this out a little bit. You already noticed that it's getting slightly darker. Now here is where I would say 90% of my students, when they're first starting to do this, they don't know where to go from here, because then they start getting way too dark too soon. This one has to be almost completely black, or as dark as your number 2 pencil can go. So you have to be careful how you do this. Now, in some other videos that I will post later on at some later date, I might be able to show you how to fix situations. Now, I will say it's a lot easier to darken something that's too light than it is to actually erase something that is way too dark. There's a point of no return where if you draw way too dark or shade in way too dark, no amount of erasing is going to help you. But I digress. We'll talk about that in a later video. You're going to go ahead and just transition into a darker value as you go. Even out your boxes. So if I squint my eyes, this is kind of the same. So I want to go ahead and place a little bit of pressure just to show a difference. I don't want to get too dark too soon. That would not be good. All right, so again, now I think you got the idea. The whole point is to train your eyes to see small changes in value or shading or brightness. I gotta be careful here because I gotta be able to get darker here and then darkest here. So let's see if I can do it. Notice again how I'm holding the pencil. I'm not down here, I'm here. That's really important. So again, I'm gonna just slightly darken. I think I did it, guys. I think I managed it. Because you're like, how much darker can I get? Oh, you have no idea. This is gonna be fun. This is my favorite part. You can put as much pressure as you want on this. Again, a number 2 pencil is only gonna get so dark. It's gonna be a very dark silvery tone. Once we start with more videos, I will show you why they're called number 2 pencils, because there's a whole number system and letter system to these pencils, especially when you start doing a little bit more of the professional drawing techniques. You will need specific pencils, but this is my favorite. When you're really frustrated or if you had a bad day, get it as dark as you possibly can. Noticing this one is very similar, so I'm gonna just slightly darken this a little bit more, just so that we can see I did that squinting thing. And that's it, guys. Value scale 7 boxes. Let me remind you, this is one way to do it. It's not the only way. You might see other people that do it differently, and that's okay. As long as you're learning that values get darker and lighter depending on the light source, then you know what you're doing. Sometimes these value scales can get very complicated. I remember I was in college and we did 15 boxes, we did 17 boxes. And trust me, that was not easy. That was one of the most frustrating experiences for me. But it was a learning experience, and it's really important to learn this. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, like I said before, please go down below and click subscribe. Comment, let me know if you like this video, what you don't like about it. Be nice, please. Kindness. And click that little bell. That's really important. I want to know what you guys think, what you guys want to see, and hopefully I'll be able to put something up every week.